Okay, so in today's forecast, we're going to break down all the weather that you need to know that's going to hit the United States in the next few days, starting with jet stream. We got a mild dip in the jet stream going on right now. That's bringing some of that cold air and snow to the Great Lakes region. This is quickly moving too. Um, by Thursday, it looks like this will move into the northeast, and that's going to bring some snow and very cold air into that place. We're going to get into the temperature outlooks and all that later in the video. But as you can see, very strong upper winds pushing into the United States. That's going to bring some pretty cold weather in. And then you got that slight dip in the jet stream. It's not going to do much. It's just going to bring a little bit of rain and snow, mostly snow to the southeastern Canada area. And then this jet stream will kind of go up like a hill, go the opposite way that it usually brings severe weather and all that, and that's gonna push all this moisture and warm air up into the United States, and that's why it's gonna feel so warm in the as far north as Nebraska. So if you hate the cold, that's a little relief. We'll get into temperature later in the video. Then you got some more very strong upper winds on Saturday, and that's going to bring some very cold weather and snow into the places as far south as Nebraska. So, that's it for the jet stream. Now we're looking at the precipitation type. Right now, there's that winter storm that's going on. Sorry I wasn't able to post about that yesterday, but, I am now. So, yeah, it brought up to 10 inches of snow to the Great Lakes region. It was all over the roads on has cams and all that. But yeah, that's gonna move out of our area around Thursday. We'll see some remaining snow flurries in the northeast and, snow squall watch for the Ohio Valley, because look at that, we can see some snow squalls and snow flurries going on over there. And then as we move on into late Thursday, it's looking pretty dry over the central United States. We could see some lake effect snow going on around 5 p.m. for the Lake Erie areas. And then another system is going to move in behind that. It's going to bring it down to the Carolinas and then kind of just disappear. Another system will hit the Great Lakes region by Saturday, and that's going to bring a lot of lake effect snow. So be ready for some lake effect snow, anyone who lives in the Great Lakes region. Then by Saturday, we can see some snow stretching out as far south as Nebraska and South Dakota. Just some flurries going on. So yeah, that lake effect snow right there I'm circling is our main thing that we're watching. And then around 2 a.m. on Saturday, as that line is going to come through. And that's when we look at the jet stream, this is the same time where those really strong upper winds were pushing down into the central United States. That's the snow that it's bringing. So not a lot. The North Dakota, you'll might see some higher amounts, maybe a dusting to an inch is possible in these areas. And then by late Saturday into Sunday, we can see a small area of snow move through northern Missouri and Springfield, Illinois, and all those places. And then by Wednesday next week, we can see somewhat of a storm system. This is very far out, so it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, but we can see somewhat of a storm system moving in, and that's going to bring a lot of drought relief for those places. We're going to look at the temperature outlooks later in the video because you can definitely see there's a drought going on. So yeah. Now when we go into next Friday, it's looking pretty dry for the central United States. Then by the 21st, we can see a winter storm moving through the Great Lakes region into the northeast, and that's going to bring some travel impacts. And then south of this, we can see some very heavy rainfall and some maybe strong thunderstorms. This is really far out in the future. This is the 22nd. Very strong storm system. Then by the 25th, we can see widespread snow across the United States. So places that might get a white Christmas includes all of the Northeast, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Wisconsin, all those places. And then the south of that, like my area, is just going to get some rain and then ice. So this is the 26th that we can see a much stronger system moving through the Kentucky and Tennessee area that can bring maybe some severe weather. Still, it's really far out. Now we're looking at temperature anomalies. You can see that low pressure system up in the northeast. That's what's bringing all that snow. That's gonna move out of our hair by Thursday, and then some very cold weather is gonna settle in right after that moves out of the area. By Thursday there'll be a high pressure system in place, and that's gonna bring some 10-degree weather to places like Iowa, and then up in Minnesota and Wisconsin we can see -5, -10-degree weather. So very active and cold weather pattern. The Great Lakes can see some temperatures around like the single digits. So very cold weather. If you hate the cold, there is a warm front. There is warm air coming in a few days, so be ready for that. And then we can see a huge polar vortex from Canada come in. That's what I was talking about when I was looking at the jet stream. Those huge upper winds that are coming in. This is kind of just the same area that it's in. You notice that purple and white on the temperature map, and that's going to start moving into the central United States, and it's going to get wild, guys. But right before that, around the 11th, on Thursday, we can see a huge warm front, very warm air just push into the central United States, and that's going to bring some, temperature relief right before. So warm before the cold. It's going to be extremely warm with temperatures in the lower 60s for Texas, and then maybe the 50s for places like Kansas and Missouri and all those places. So, very good warm air will move through on Thursday. This is Friday. We can see some very warm air, and then right after that, that huge cold front from Canada is going to start moving in, and that's going to bring temperatures in the single digits to negative. The temperature's down to -20 degrees in the Minnesota area. So, stay tuned, guys, because we're going to look into this. Major cold blast is coming through. You can see that high pressure system around the Minnesota area. We can see -20-degree weather easily in those places. And then places as far south as southern Missouri, southern Kansas, all those places, we could see temperatures in the lower teens. So very cold weather right after this very warm weather. So Thursday and Friday, it's going to be very warm. Then Saturday, it's going to be mild. It's going to start getting colder. And then Sunday, absolutely crazy. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week. I forgot to bring it up. Very strong winds today, especially, southern Missouri and all those places. I can actually hear, I've been hearing wind howling through my window and all that. So I'm just letting you know. Pretty windy for the Ozarks and more places. But yeah, around Monday, it's going to be extremely cold with a high-pressure system in the Carolinas and Virginias. Temperatures in Springfield, Missouri, we can see 10-degree weather there. Places like Springfield, Illinois, and Indianapolis, Indiana, we can see some temperatures in the single digits. So, very cold weather. This is going to last for a long, long time. Starting Sunday and ending around Tuesday and Wednesday. So, very cold weather. And then when that will move out of the area, we'll see some warmer weather going on. I'm going to turn it. There's a low-pressure system back behind this. And right there you can see around Tuesday, you can see a brief warm flash going on all the way up into Nebraska. So that's kind of crazy if you hate the cold. It's going to reach all the way up into there. Places like Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas will experience some very warm weather with temperatures in the lower 70s and all that. And then it looks like by next Friday, another cold blast is going to come in, and that could bring some very cold weather. But before that, we can see another huge warm front, and that's going to bring temperatures in the 70s to Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. So, very warm weather right before it gets really cold again. You can see that low pressure system bringing some very cold weather in. especially for the Great Lakes region. I think you can see very cold weather in the single digits, and then a low pressure system will move in around right around Christmas, the 25th, and just look at that. Look at that low pressure system. That's just going to bring a huge cold front in, and look how, let's say 50 miles east, there's temperatures in the 70s, and 50 miles west, we got temperatures in the single digits. So absolutely crazy weather. As low pressure system will bring in some very cold weather on the 26th for places like Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa, all those places. So right around Christmas, that's crazy. We can see along that line, we can see some strong thunderstorms, and then farther north we can see some snow, but it's still really far out, so make sure you stay tuned for more updates on that. Now we're going to this. There was a solar storm that moved through earlier. Again, I wasn't able to post yesterday, but what I just circled, that's where it is. So I thought it would be cool to look at this. Here's the day 2 excessive rainfall outlook. We got a slight risk for the Idaho Panhandle area. This is the day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. There's a historic atmospheric river going on up there, so make sure you stay safe about that if you live anywhere in Washington and Oregon. This is the 8 to 14 day excessive rainfall outlook. As you can see, there's a bit of a drought going on in the southern United States. Here's a HazCam near Buffalo, New York. We got some snow on the ground. And then this is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and this is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more updates as we move on into January.